Hey, how's it going? I'm Carm Taglia with Top 3 Roofers, and today we have Ethan Vandehei. He's with Infinity Exteriors. He's a Midwestern brother. He's out in Wisconsin. And just to give you a little background without boring you to death, they're Wisconsin-based, about 8 locations, private equity, been around for since 1997. And he also has his own podcast, Encourage Mindset, which he talks to business owners, CEOs, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, marketing people as well. And yeah, just want to say welcome to the show. And I'm glad to have you on here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. And it was a blast having you on my podcast the other week.
That's right, man. That's right. You really grilled me, man. You really unzipped me.
Hey, that's the whole intention of podcasting, right?
I love it. I love it. See, you're a young stallion. I'm like this old, old man doing podcasts now, but you got it all together. Just to give you a little background, Ethan has over 100 podcasts under his belt. He may look young, but he's a full force to be reckoned with. And right now he works for Infinity Exteriors. They're out in Wisconsin, just dominating Madison, Milwaukee. So yeah, I just kind of want to dive right in, not go so much into the boring background. How'd you get into this, vanilla stuff? But let's just come out of the gate and start talking about AI and, how it's a little stat here too, 60% of consumers are being influenced by AI. And that's like a base level number. I feel like that's going to be a lot more coming very soon.
Yeah, I think AI is going to definitely be the future, but what matters about it is how are you going to implement it in your business, but also how are you incorporating it as thinking as a customer, right? As you as a marketer and myself as a marketer, we always need to think like potential clients, potential leads, and what can we do in our business to help us generate those appointments because that's what we care about. So obviously people are using AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, all these ones and seeing, hey, which roofer is the best near me or what's the best window company near me, whatever they're searching in Claude or ChatGPT, and it's generating these results, right? And people are losing the focus on how it's actually producing those results. They think it's some AI SEO company that they need to pay $100 a month to rank better. And certainly that's not the truth, right? The truth is in the Google EEAT, in expert, authority, trustworthiness, experience, all of those things. So the biggest thing that you need to first make sure is that your locations are truly saying where you're located. You have reviews, Google reviews, Yelp reviews, Trustpilot reviews, BBB reviews. Take your online reviews very seriously. Even Facebook nowadays has reviews. And then all of those things combined are going to help you be more searchable when Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT is trying to find out who the best roofer is. Making sure you have your service area pages on your website saying where you service in, making sure your Google My Business is up to date, making sure your everything that you can think of digitally is up to date. It makes sense. It flows because that's all ChatGPT and all these AIs are doing is they're just looking around in the internet and trying to find who is Infinity Exteriors or who is Bob's Roofing. And so making content is huge these days, whether it's a little 30-second clip, a minute clip, it doesn't matter. But making that stuff is going to be huge. That's why you need to make your job site the studio. And I think some roofing companies get lost in that. You got to make your job site, that customer's job site, is the marketing studio and utilize that to your max.
Yeah, and I always like to explain it too. These platforms are very greedy, right? Ethan, they want to keep you on that platform. They don't want you to get off that platform. Like Facebook and Instagram want you on Facebook and Instagram. Google wants you on Google. Now, ChatGPT and Gemini and all these other guys, they want to keep you on that platform, right? They don't want to let you go to Google. They don't want to, they don't want you to leave the platform, right? I mean,
Yeah, and they're also trying to be more informative, right? At the end of the day, the AI is just trying to be informative and giving you the best information possible. Is it correct all the time? No, that's why sometimes you need humans watching AI. That's like when you work in the business and you use AI, sometimes you can tell when you give it some reports and you say, hey, give me some feedback on this, or hey, give me some KPIs from this report. Not always is it accurate. That's why you need to make sure you manually have eyes on this stuff. I'm saying when you are doing marketing and you're working with an agency, you need to make sure this agency is actually doing the work and you're not just blindly paying an agency $6,000 a month. You need to make sure that they're having deliverables and they're actually doing them. And when you check in with these AIs and you make sure you're feeding it information and you're posting on social and paid ads and all these things, this AI is going to really understand who Infinity Exteriors or who Bob's Roofing is. When you create blog content for your website, it's taking all of that information and it's just factoring that into the decision of which roofer should I go for. And then that's where Claude and all these AIs are giving the potential customer the information to make the best decision at their mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, kind of unzipping that for people, like what does that look like? What sort of things can you feed the AI to like make you that guy, that one that it recommends a lot?
Yeah, I would say that's tough because like a lot of it is like, yeah, agencies can help. Yeah, internal marketing person can help, but a lot of it comes from your customers. And I think that's where people are getting lost in the marketing space in general is if you're a lead generation like company, service-based company, a lot of the things that you're looking for in a marketing person to do tend to stem from just your customers helping feeling right? A marketing person can love to send every single person a Google My Business review request, but at the end of the day, it's the hope and talents that you hoped on your team that your project manager, your sales guy, your project coordinator, your crews, all of them took such great care of that customer that the customer then, when they get that marketing email saying, hey, how was the service here? They feel so well taken care of that they then will fill out a Google review. They'll refer their friends, their family, etc. So a lot of this marketing stuff, it's tough to give you like a concrete answer besides saying like, sometimes you need your customers to really help you.
Or do a good job, like have it baked in there, like you're saying, it's corporate culture, right? It goes down that list. Like, think of all the people that touch that customer's roof, right? Like that's baked into your culture. So yeah, being a good company is going to be an easy company for you to market because you don't have just one-star review. Like you guys got like 2,500 for one location of just all, point 8 and better reviews. I mean, that's rough to do. That's really telling me that you have it cooked in there.
Yeah, and it's all about making that client experience. I learned this from my early days of working at Red Lobster. Our GM was all
Yeah.
about there's a lot of people that can't afford going out to Red Lobster. And this is when, Red Lobster is deemed as a fancy restaurant. People threw on dress clothes to go there. And nowadays, obviously, Red Lobster's totally flipped. People are going there with jeans on. But yeah, I got that experience realizing like, oh yeah, like this is a privilege for these people to go there. And this is a privilege for people to understand in the roofing, siding, windows, roofing business. It's a privilege for somebody to pick your company and then give you $50,000 for doing a roofing project or a siding and roofing, whatever it may be. And you need to treat that as, wow, this is valuable. This is an experience for this person. How can I make it better for them? So factor in those things like unreasonable hospitality, going above and beyond, making their life easier. All of those things that you can do within your roofing company will only help your marketing team more.
Yeah. And like, what are you guys doing on your end? Like, what's the special sauce? Because I mean, you're on private equity, but like, you see things like on the small side that probably like make you cringe, where you're like, oh God. Like, what do you do on your side that you're doing like a million times better with like the AI helping out your customer service that just other people aren't getting? Or it doesn't even have to be AI, it could just be customer service related and going above and beyond.
Yeah, I would say that the thing that I learned very quickly is marketing can spend dollars, right? We can spend hundreds of $1,000s a month to acquire leads. But the biggest thing that you want to make sure is making sure that money's spent properly. And so what AI is really good at helping with is we built this amazing tracker called a lead capacity tracker. Like, hey, Infinity Exteriors can only have this many leads a week, this many leads a month, this many leads broken out. So we try to make sure that that lead capacity is full every day. Is it hitting that roofing week? Is it hitting that windows week? Are we hitting our goals on that stuff? And if we're over this lead capacity, we know that we're spending extra dollars in marketing to acquire leads that will either lead to cancelizations, they're just probably a waste of money spent because we know that we can't service them or help them because we're already full.
Yeah,
Or
bad
we
good stuff, right? I
or
mean,
we recognize even better things. Hey man, we're always hitting our lead capacity. That means we need to hire another sales guy, or that means we need to hire another project manager or get another PC, like whatever it may be. So just kind of using this tracker as a huge help for Infinity and beyond.
yeah. So you guys are using the AI to track the leads. I mean, that's a big deal, right? Like people don't realize, and there's so many nuances to tracking leads. Because I mean, even right now with the AI, you're gonna start lose like, it's not like you could put a tracking number in the AI, right? Like, yes, if it comes to your website or if it comes to a conversion point, from there you could track it. But if I just never even show up at your website and I just call you straight out of the AI, like, how are you tracking that, right? You're starting to feel that drop off. Like it's more difficult, right?
Yeah, totally. But that's where I say, like, making sure like you have a call rail system set up, making sure anything you're doing in the marketing world, you are tagging it somehow, whether it's a QR code, which is great these days, especially in most digital ads and making, or print ads too, and making sure that, you know, you have a phone number set up in place if you want to look very local, which we love doing because we are a local company. We want to make sure we showcase that we're local and we care about these people. I mean, if you're going to have a branded phone number, it just looks like you're some national big guy and nobody wants to work with you. So being careful on that is huge. Born out of Waukesha, Wisconsin. So making sure that we really ingrain in our roots and we build upon the community, being involved in chambers of commerce, things like that. There's ways to incorporate marketing in a strategic way. And I think AI, if you use it correctly, can really help you grow in those strategic levels.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, keeping your small roots. I mean, at the end of the day, too, it's not like the owner of your company that built this before, private equity came and picked it up. He was a local guy, right? He had a
Yeah.
local family. He was a vet. Like he was a mon pa, and he just did the business so great that it did get picked up, right? So staying on those roots is really the way to go, right?
Yep. Totally.
I love it, man. So let's talk about a little bit like, what are you guys using like AI wise, like speed the lead and capturing leads and picking up like how does that work with you guys?
Yeah, so we have a customer service representative that's beyond talented about pretty much booking, making sure she's listening to the call and listening to the homeowner. But obviously, she only has set hours, right? She can't work 24 hours a day. So that's where AI comes in very effectively and answers the phone for us when we are closed or when there is
Mhm.
a holiday or those certain life events where we can't get somebody to answer the phone. Speaking with an AI is huge because you can basically tell it everything about your business. And once again, if you build it properly, it should be able to search everything about your business already because you have the marketing materials, you have a website, you have blog posts, you have your services on there, you have your service areas. So then AI really just knows everything about you. And you have an AI very nice voice that answers the phone. If somebody asks a question during the after hours, it's able to help that person first find out if it's even a lead at all. And or maybe it's a potential current customer that's going through something, whatever it may be. But this AI is going to help us take notes and figure out something over the phone when most companies, they just have their hours. And if somebody doesn't answer it, well, too bad they lost that lead. So that's where AI can come in and at least probably save you some leads because at least it's getting a voicemail or a note or something where they felt like they talked to somebody. They felt like they got their concern out there. Whereas a lot of times that's kind of the core issue sometimes is people got to remember every time a lead comes to you, that's money. And that's potential money your roofing business could have. And if you're just letting that sit at the table by only having your hours at a set hour, well, you're losing money every day because most people, right? They have a 9 to 5 job. So when do they call? After 5 o'clock when they have free time, or they call on a Saturday because they're not working. And I think that's sometimes the case that people need to think more like a potential customer is when would the time that I call a roofing company make the most sense? And it's like, well, after work, Saturdays. And when do people want appointments sometimes? Weekends. So making sure you have a team that is able to work weekends as well. So just kind of building that all with AI and having AI be a resource is huge there. And especially in the customer service area.
Yeah, I mean, even that's the whole them finding you after hours, the AI, Google, all these platforms know when your business hours are. And I guess they're even now, before that wasn't a thing, they'll show you more during the hours that you're open. So if you're not open on a weekend or you're only open, 4 days a week and you don't have anybody in the office to pick up the phone and you're marking that and your Google business profile, they're not getting found. So to me, those are always like cheap, inexpensive, like easiest conversions. Like those people that are up at night researching on AI, who's the best that does Da Vinci, that is whatever it may be that they're searching, that they're predispositioned to buy, right? Like the buyer's intent is way higher, right?
Yeah, and I think that's where some people really need to audit their own roofing company because there's a lot of free things you can do to get leads before you do some paid stuff. And sometimes you just need a third perspective to really check on those.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always preach that too. You have to start with the easiest, lowest hanging fruit and work your way down from there. Like you can do ninja stuff. Everybody wants to be a black belt, right? But before you become a black belt, you have to be a white belt. You have to go through that. You have to go through the pain, the growing pains, right? There's not like a easy button or easy switch that you could just switch on.
Totally. Yep. And I think that is definitely something that every business owner in this space should be paying attention to.
Yeah. I mean, like what are you guys doing that that the little guys are not doing that you could instantly do, like you're saying, that's like no cost, low cost, that would help these little guys out? Because people think like private equity, oh, they just want to like dominate everybody and get the equity is mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions, like they want more companies to acquire. They want better companies to acquire. That's part of the private equity strategy, I imagine, right?
I think people just lack on nurturing leads and they think like you need to have this wild marketing budget or this wild like built-in system through AI or customer service or whatnot. And it's like people forget about all the canceled appointments that they have or the people that call them back and say like, I can't meet this time and maybe they never get rescheduled. Check on those people. Call them. Have your sales team call them. Just check.
Yeah. Now for you guys, I'm sure you have set amount of touches. I know on the smaller, when we audit stuff on the smaller companies, yeah, some guys only call once or twice. Other guys only call 3 or 4 times. Some guys never call back. Like, do you guys have like a set amount of touches like each one of your guys definitely makes, or gals?
Our customer service team does, but I think that's where everybody lacks, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to trust your people on your team. And you have to hope that, yeah, that was a canceled appointment and John was going to run that. Well, did John check on, hey, 2 weeks went by and did that lead actually, did we lose it because competition got it? Did we lose, like, why did we lose it? And sometimes all it takes to find out is a phone call that most companies lack to do. And so if I was a little roofing company, and I realized, man, I'm getting leads, which is great, but I keep losing leads. Like, what's going on? That's sometimes where you need to find out that why. That's why a lot of people love Simon Sinek because he's like, start with why. And that's sometimes what you need to do in your business is why do these people keep going somewhere else? Why do these people keep canceling? What is the problem? Are we booking people way too far out? Am I booking somebody already for 2 weeks down the road? So April 27th for an appointment? Well, hate to break it to you. If I'm booking somebody by April 27th and it's April 9th, I guarantee you they're going to get somebody else in the door and I'm going to lose that lead. And that's sometimes what we need to think about is, okay, well, why am I losing this? Or why am I not gaining this opportunity? And most of the time it's because We're not calling and finding out. It's like when, your customer service representative's on the phone and then they say, "Why'd you hear about us?" or "How did you hear about us?" And they just say like, "Oh, radio." And you don't like check in on that. Out of curiosity, what radio station was it? Or what TV station was it? Sometimes you gotta get more out of these potential customers or these current customers. Like, what is the why or what is that reasoning? And I think that's where people, like you said on this podcast before we started, we don't want to get very vanilla. But some people are okay with the vanilla answers, which is like, no, you want the sprinkles, you want the sundae, you want the loaded thing. Get as much information as you can get.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand it's a multi-channel omnipresence as well. Sometimes it's hard to track where a sale came from because it goes so far back in the CRM. Like it started here and then it went there and then it went there and then an email came and nurtured it and brought it back in.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing for like database nurturing? Like what's some like bread and butter things that, the smaller roofers could set up that's like totally simple, easy?
I think you should have, we call it like a rehash party where you look at all your appointments that you lost or canceled appointments and you just give those homeowners a call and check in on them. I mean, that's literally what I was just getting at. Check in on your previous lost leads, your previous canceled leads, or the people that randomly just didn't work with you. Like, what the
Yeah.
heck's going on?
Yeah.
And all it takes is picking up the phone. And that's the core problem is most people hate picking up the phone. And most people will say like, well, what can marketing do in that instant? What can marketing do? And it's like, well, there's a great thing called retargeting. We can launch retargeting campaigns at those people and we can bring back some of those people through emails. We can bring them through SMS marketing. There's so many avenues that marketing can help in those ways too, as long as we have the information, right? We have their email address, we have their phone number, whatever it may be. So marketing can help in that initial, but if you have some sales guys, I would say get on the phone and just find out what these people did.
Yeah, rock those phones. I mean, there's always money on the phone. And it starts off cold, and the more touches it gets, the more you get in front of them, the more they drink your Kool-Aid, the warmer it gets and the closer you get to the sale. It's not like you're gonna just go out on a date with some girl and just kiss her on the mouth. Like, no, there's like a courting to it. There's a
Yeah.
warming up process. Very similar with marketing and sales.
Well, and it's like we talked on my podcast, right? When you're trying to present yourself as a roofing company, you need to make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Like the basics, right? Is your truck wrapped? Is your t-shirt or polo have your logo on it? Do you have yard signs? Do you have all these core things that like when you go run a lead, like, hey, when I close that job, the yard sign's going in the yard, blah, blah, blah. There should be a core, like, this is our standard operating procedure of what we are doing every day. And when you have those marketing basics and those marketing fundamentals and principles, those are just going to be pretty much like your gravy.
Yeah, it's standardizing systems, right? Standardizing your marketing outreach, your sales outreach. And I always try to explain it. It's like you always want to have the same experience no matter who's running it. The thing I would probably want to touch on is like marketing reality at the macro scale, because you're on a macro scale. The thing that's cool about your business, like you have eight, like it's almost like you have eight clients all rowing in the same direction. It's not like, oh, well, the one location does tile and they're on the coast. This other guy does, he's on the West Coast, he does clay tile and he's in a different time zone and a different demographic. Like, what do you see like on a macro scale of doing things? Is it easier or is it harder?
I'd say it's harder, right? Because when we first created Infinity Exteriors, it was based in Milwaukee. It was in Waukesha. We cared a ton about the greater Milwaukee area. And so when you scale that for 20 plus years, and then you finally go, well, we're going to hire some local people in Appleton. We're going to hire some local people in Rockford. We're going to hire some local people in Belvedere, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and so on, Stevens Point. It's tough because you want them to succeed really well and do really well. But you have to remember, that's like a baby company, like just starting out. So sometimes you have to give those offices a lot of grace because, you might have these expectations of, I'm going to expect this and it's going to turn into this and we're going to hit this conversion rate, all these things. Well, you're going into that market, one, not really knowing a whole lot because you have no previous data. So a lot of it is just like it's a baby market. Let's nurture it. Let's support it. Let's treat it as like it is its own thing. And sometimes that gets tough. But at the end of the day, that's the core thing with anybody's business is you need to treat every business unique and personalized to that set area. Because if you're just going to be some broad roofing company and you say, well, I service everywhere. Well, or yeah, we do everything. Like there gets to a point where sometimes you just need to say no.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the tough point sometimes is, yeah, there probably is a service area that we could run, but it gets to a point where it's like, that guy's driving an hour and a half to go run that appointment. Does that really make sense? Like, no. Or that's a service we could do, but we're not great at it, or we're not an expert in that. So why would we go do a tile roof? Yeah, could we? Sure, but we're not an expert in it. So let's stick to what we are an expert in. And so that's kind of tough with some locations, right? Because they're very small. So they don't have a big enough crew to do all these big things that Milwaukee could do or that these other locations could do. But you work on it and eventually they'll grow and get to the point that you want. But I think that's kind of the learning curve sometimes is underestimating or overestimating what they can and can't do.
Yeah, I mean, baby steps. You don't want to be like drinking from a fire hose, right? You just don't like, here you go, like the faucet's gonna be turned on. I'm going into a new area. Kind of like you're saying, or yeah, saying no to those bad fit jobs, those bad fit areas. Yeah, you don't have to take everything because, I mean, you're gonna be more profitable with your bread and butter, with what you're good at. You're gonna give a good experience. It's gonna be easy work. Easy work is also easier to market as well because those guys are gonna give you good reviews. You know that those guys are gonna give you praise.
Yeah, and it's not like we don't want to help everybody in this world. Sometimes doing a small roof repair, but you have a guy that wants to do siding, windows, and roofs. Like sometimes you got to prioritize the bigger job right there because at the end of the day, it makes sense.
Yeah. What's a waste of money that you see a lot of these smaller roofers doing where it's like, well, we're doing it because we're huge and we need to do it, and we've been doing this for so long. Like a newer guy, like a under $5 million guy, like what are they wasting money that you see on like over and over and over
I
again?
think a lot of companies waste money on traditional media that don't need to do it. Like
Okay.
if you're like you said around 5 million or stuff like that, it gets to a point where it's like, just focus on the small, easy wins like we've been talking about. Make sure you have an LSA account. Make sure you have Google My Business perfected. Make sure you have a website with real, authentic content. And I think that's where, like, some people, an agency makes a lot of sense because you don't need a full-time marketing person. But what you do need is you do need somebody to genuinely take care of your business and take it seriously. And that's where some agencies can come in and really be helpful. But you spending if you're a $5 million company and you're spending 20 grand on radio ads, like I would encourage you to pivot that and be like, I'm going to spend 20 grand on local service ads. And I'm going to really spend some time making sure that I find a little local videographer or a photographer. Think of all the people that are out there with college degrees that don't know what the heck they're going to do when they graduate. There's
Yeah.
a lot of them out there. And I guarantee you, every single person listening to this podcast knows one university that's close to their business. And all it takes is a call and saying, hey, I need somebody in your photography department or videography department to come follow me around for a day, take some pictures, take some videos, and they get portfolio experience and you get finalized, really nice high-end pictures and video at a great price, and you both collaborate and help one another. And I think that's probably the most common problem is people forget about local collaboration.
It's easier now than ever. You have all these AI video editors, you have AI video generators generating videos from static images, so there's really no excuse not to. And video converts a lot better than static images in most cases.
Well, and people need to remember stock images hurt you more than good. Same with stock imagery and video. It doesn't do anything for you good on Google. It doesn't, because Google's looking for all those meta tag descriptions and all of those geo tags, all of that stuff. And if all you're doing is downloading a PNG of canva.com that looks like a roofer, that's really not going to do anything for your business, when all you can do is find a local videographer or photographer, have them take some nice shots of your business and utilize those to its fullest.
Yeah, and I mean, also branding wise, you're lost in a sea of other people with all the same pictures, all the same roofs. Like, what's the differentiator? What's going to make you different? People buy from people. They buy from people they like. Talking about your charities, talking about your interests. That's why I have these, stupid Bears jerseys and stuff like that behind me. So it's like so people know like I'm a real person with real interests, right?
Well, and that's why building a personal brand along with your roofing company is huge these days. Because, like you said, people get attracted to people. People want to buy from people. People want relationships. People value emotional, great experiences. That's why algorithms are so crazy these days, because all of it is emotionally generating like feelings for you. Oh, I got sucked into that video for 2 hours and then I ended up scrolling for 4 more hours because all it did is recognize you want to laugh today, so it's showing you laughing videos. Or
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's showing you a bunch of touchy-feely videos that are getting you sad because it's recognizing that that's your emotion right now. And that's what's great about the roofing industry is you build these handshakes, I call it, because when you first run a free estimate or free consultation or whatever it may be, you're building that handshake right away with the person. And it's not an AI person. It's not a stock image. It's not a stock video. It's you and John Williams building that connection. And you're checking out John Williams's house and making sure it's in great shape. And people need to showcase those stories more and those testimonials. And that's why customer testimonials, I would tell you, if I was a small company, that's the only thing I would focus on. What can I do to get more customer testimonials? What can I do to get my customers to rave about my business? And that's your marketing. That's it.
I mean, you could have a plan on that just alone. Trust factors, right? It's just you're taking trust factors, it's taking a good job, well done, and then just amplifying that. I've seen websites rank that are terrible sites, like on Google business profiles. I'm sorry, they don't even have a website and they have 1,500 reviews and they're on the Google business profile without a website, right? So, I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. But if you do the right things and you get your people that truly love your experience talking, it's gonna win in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, well, to me, I also think of it like what's a tangible marketing asset outside of your website? You have your website, then you have your Google business profile with all its reviews. You have your database with all your contacts that you could go in and mine. What are some other assets that you could think of that would be like a marketing asset like that you actually own and
I mean, you
stand?
should have a canvassing flyer if you canvas. You should have um like door hangers or whatever it may be, something tangible. Or even promotional items too. Like maybe you don't need to spend a ton of money on like hats or t-shirts, but even like pens, right? Everyone uses a pen. Get
Yep,
some little infinity pens or
there you
some
go.
Bob's William pens and
There's mine.
yeah, I mean these things cost like 10 cents and hand them out to people. It's funny, I ran into this story thanks to my mother-in-law, but she ran into a fortunate situation with her fridge and she needed to call a plumber. And I mean, she's not the most tech person in the world, but it was kind of crazy. She's like, yeah, I just looked at my fridge and saw a fridge magnet for John Plumbing. And I called John Plumbing and it was like, there you go, like fridge magnets.
Yeah,
Everybody has them. Everybody wants a fridge magnet, right? Because they got to put Susie and little Johnny's baseball pictures on the fridge or whatnot. So yeah, get a little fridge magnet and make some of those and hand them out to people and build business that way. There's so many creative little things that you can do that will add marketing value to you that I call unscalable activities because you never know when it's going to scale, but it will eventually.
And it's all one ecosystem, right? It all touches. I think it's like Tommy Aiello. He's talking about how he built his empire on like stickers, like putting them on the garage doors, right?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, simple stuff like that. Plus, it shows that you were physically there. So if I go to a door and knock a door and they don't pick up, how are they ever going to know that I was there besides the ring doorbell? Leave a door hanger. Is it gonna convert at a crazy rate? But I mean, if you do 1,000 for $200 and you get a 1% return on that, great. You got 10. You got 10 people for $200. That's $20 a pop. I mean, where else are you gonna get a cheap and expensive conversion like that?
Yeah, and that's the way you gotta think, right? If I just land a couple, that's really all it takes. If I just land a couple.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, Ethan, thank you so much, man. I'm so happy that you were able to come on. Yeah, and if anybody that wants to get hold of Ethan, he's got his podcast, Encourage Mindset. You can look him up on there. He's Infinity Exteriors. They're a great company in my neighboring Wisconsin. But yeah, thanks so much, man, for being on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me and excited to help out any way possible and excited to see more people taking their marketing serious in the roofing space.